Presenters. This next presentation is the Regional Alliance for Small Contractors, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Mary Jane Augustine is the second presenter, I believe, and Mark Quinn is the first presenter. Please proceed.
Okay, thank you and good morning. And I bring greetings to you all on behalf of the Board of Directors, as well as the staff, as well as the partners of the Regional Alliance for Small Contractors. I'm particularly honored to make this presentation only because there are so many individuals and organizations that form the Alliance that have contributed to us being able to be here this morning. I had mentioned partners earlier, and there are 60 somewhat partners involved in the Regional Alliance. And they span all different sectors of the construction industry. There are approximately 20 governmental agencies, approximately 20 major construction firms that are active not only in the New York City region, but also in the country and in some instances the world. And there are also approximately 20 small contractors, primarily minority and women-owned businesses, who have been very active in what we do. Just by way of background on us, last year we serviced approximately 1,000 small contractors. Okay, and these are small business people, African Americans, Latinos, Native Americans, Asian Americans, women, people that include all of those categories, and also business people that are in none of those categories that I just mentioned. Back in 1988, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey identified a problem, and they were quick to recruit other governmental agencies and private sector companies that identified a similar problem. And that problem was that there was work out there, construction activity out there, available to small minority and women-owned businesses. In fact, there was more work out there than we could find contractors that could bid on, win, and complete successfully. Basically, it turned out to be a capacity issue. There were contractors out there, but they needed a certain amount of support to build their capacity to enable to take full advantage of the contracting opportunities that not only were existing, but were planned in the coming years. To restate that, we were looking to make a contractor that may have been earning $500,000 a year in gross sales this year into a business that was earning $5 million a year, maybe for 4 or 5 years. Okay, the approach which was adopted included providing a number of different services. What started off were some training courses which we called Managing Growth, which were very specific courses that tied into the management of a small construction company. Okay, that program expanded into one whereby one-to-one consultations were provided to these small contractors. Okay, our services quickly expanded to include providing assistance in obtaining financing and bonding, as well as in identifying additional contracting opportunities. Key breakthrough with the opportunities was an agreement, partnership which we developed with McGraw-Hill to improve access or dissemination of contracting opportunities to our targeted businesses. And finally, we extended into the policy and research area, in forming partnerships with various entities in the industry. We study, and we still do study governmental practices which may inhibit the growth of small contractors. What makes us unique? I think the private sector participation that we receive makes us very unique. The providers of many of our services are mid and senior level executives of major firms. We have a very high level of repeat clients. Approximately 50% of the clients that go through our courses come back again. We've evolved into sort of a forum of groups that have been adversarial in the past. And in that way, we've been able to identify similarities among all small businesses and been able to approach state legislators, hopefully to identify remedies. And we've enjoyed a high level of credibility with lenders, sureties, as well as other professionals in the industry. At this point, I'd like to introduce Mary Jane Augustine, who has been involved with us for a number of years and can give you a better perspective of the private sector participation.
As Mark said, I'm Mary Jane Augustine. I am special counsel to the law firm of Bear Marks and Upham in New York, which is general counsel to the Regional Alliance and has been for some time. We provide our services on a pro bono basis, and we are one of the 25 or so private partners in the Alliance. I think you can truly say that the construction-related firms who are private partners drive the engine of the construction industry in the New York area. During the 3 years that I've been involved with the Alliance, I have seen a really extraordinary participation and commitment on the part of private industry in the construction industry with this alliance. The contribution that the private partners make is in terms of their people. They commit their people to develop the curriculum and teach the managing growth classes semester after semester, year after year. They commit people to work one-on-one with the contractors to help them resolve their management problems, their operational problems, to prepare themselves to get bonding and insurance and financing that they need to progress. Why do they do it?
You can finish your...
I was going to say because it gives something back to the industry. It also is good business.
I have one.
Yes.
I don't want to let Ellen be first.
All right, Alan.
The papers in New York have covered the efforts of the last city administration to reach out to minority and women-owned businesses and the difficulties of that. And other than in addition to this trouble they seem to have keeping track, there were issues about fraud, really, in which businesses that were really owned by majority people had a figurehead put in, and the ruse was used to get business. How do you manage that issue?
The way we manage that issue is I think, addressed in our approach. Basically, we are a race and gender neutral operation, so we service any small contractor that's interested in taking advantage of our services. In building the capacity of minority and women-owned businesses, we believe that we are eliminating slowly any incentives or motivations to develop these fronts. Basically, what we've seen is minority and women-owned businesses form fronts primarily to gain access to capital or obtain access to contract opportunities. Okay, and those are two issues, two topics that are high priority for us. By providing the technical assistance and the management assistance, we hope over time to see contractors grow and strengthen their businesses, thereby they won't have to seek out, or they will not be vulnerable to those situations where they'd be considered a front.
Thanks.
Harriet?
Bottom line, what either percentage or number increase in contracts or participation have you seen for legitimate minority women contractors as a result of this program? Okay,
what we've seen is more contractors getting contracts in aggregate, but we have, and in some instances we've seen certain contractors really taking on larger contracts. Exact statistics we don't have right now. One of our obstacles, one of our challenges has been getting the information back from project owners, many governmental agencies, because they are not achieving goals in a satisfactory manner, are rather reluctant to provide us with that data. That's something a project which we undertook a few months ago, and it's been taking a while to get that kind of data from them.
Follow-up question.
I'm sorry, as a follow-up, one of the issues always is that contracts are so large that it's hard for the small contractor to bid on those. Are you seeing more participations where, because of the program, there's more a piece of the action going? I mean, that's another measure.
Yeah, we've seen one or two examples very recently of construction managers and general contractors which have adopted the approach to try to attempt consciously to break down contracts into smaller pieces to expand that the opportunity to make those contracts more available to small businesses. It's still a concept which is being resisted because it's not a customary way of doing business, but we have seen some progress in that area.
First Max and then Louise.
If I could ask Ms. Augustine at the last, when you were finishing, you were questioning why do they do it, is one of the ones that seemed to me to be, this is a highly competitive business, and how do they do it also? How do you get the people who come in and teach the courses, organize them from an industry that normally is not noted for that?
I believe that it's benefited the competition in the sense that these smaller contractors are available to perform the work. They are able to do it in a more competitive manner. There are more of them. And the relationships that have been forged among the public partners, the private partners, have been beneficial for the construction industry as a whole, because now that we're coming out of the recession, These relationships were forged in a very difficult time in the New York area. We're coming out of the recession, and I think we're going to reap the benefits of the public-private, large, small relations that were developed during that time period.
Luis and then Hubert.
The argument about enlightened self-interest, of course, is what has been explained in many other programs, yet it hasn't worked in other programs. Why has it worked here? Why is the private sector involved in this program where it hasn't been in other programs?
This organization has really provided a unique sort of nucleus for the construction industry that I think had not existed at any time before. It is simply good business from the standpoint of the contacts that you make and the relationships that are developed, about learning about what is going on in the industry, what other people are doing, an opportunity to trade ideas and input. And I have found it at an extraordinary level. I've been involved in construction for many years, and I've never seen anything like this before.
Last question from Hubert Williams.
One of the major impediments to people entering the business is sort of predicated on economic deprivation and class. People that are poor, don't have money, maybe have skills, have extreme difficulty in entering the marketplace. I was wondering what the Port Authority's policies are with respect to bonding, because that's the major barrier to minorities, poor people, Hispanic, black, whatever, entering into this construction business. What's your policies on bonding?
Okay, in some instances, up to $250,000, a bond may be waived. And that's an effort to make it a little easier for small contractors to gain entry into the system. Bonding is, well, one thing that we've seen with bonding as well as financing, because in many instances that process is similar, is inadequate, I guess, organizational infrastructure on the part of the small businesses. Because they are, the entrepreneurs are out looking for work, being the bill collector, estimating jobs, overseeing their projects. What has lacked, or where they have been hurting themselves, has been in the maintenance of accounting records, just good records. And we expend a tremendous amount of time working with contractors with potential just to get that documentation to a point where we can present it to a bank or a surety and hopefully get them bonded.
Thank you. Time is